Hey beauties, it's Riri. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new, and welcome on into today's video. We have a ton of new makeup to try and test and play with together, but I also have some reviews on a few products as well. The first product that I'm going to talk about is the brand new Makeup Forever HD Skin, the Hydra Glow. And I do have the shade 1N14. I am going to pop up my little video right here of me applying this versus the original Makeup Forever, the HD Skin. I do have the exact same shade in both. I have the OG one on this side of my face. And then I have the Glow one on this side of my complexion. I will note that aside from a little bit less overall coverage on this side, and maybe seeing the tiniest peak of luminous quality, when I first apply the two, they look almost identical. Of course, I have a little bit more coverage over here, and it's slightly more mattified, if you will. I have been using this now for well over a week. I have worn both just like this throughout the entire day. I've worn both separately, and I've worn this one separately on its own as well. I am going to note that for me personally, this is something that I would use in the cooler months. I am not somebody, and I don't understand why people go glowy, dewy, luminous in the summertime, because I literally will sweat it off, okay? It's too hot here. But this is a product that I would wear most likely just in the cooler months. I did notice the one day that I wore this for 12 plus hours, even for me, and I have a very, very dry skin. It was too much. It was a lot. It also is not transfer proof. So I would say that if I was wearing it in the warmer months, the spring and summer months, I would absolutely use probably a blurring primer instead, and then I would definitely set this. As it stands right now though, again, you can see a soft, luminous quality. They both apply just as easily. I think they're both very, very pretty. I prefer this one, I have to say, and I did not think I was going to feel that way. Again, I like this. I'll use it up. I think it's beautiful for winter time. I'm going to say that. I think if you have dry skin, you would like the Hydra one, but even for myself with dry skin, I do think that in the summertime, I would be a little bit uncomfortable wearing it through the duration of, you know, a long time. So those are my final thoughts on this. I don't think I'd repurchase it unless I was repurchasing it for the cooler months. So I'll get up close again. And the OG one is just... it's one of my favorites. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful formula. You can see even on me having dry skin, textured skin, mature skin, fine lines and wrinkles, it looks great. It looks really, really good. So that is my review on this. I think if you have oily skin, it is a hard pass for you. Okay, honey. And I think if you were like me and you do have drier skin, it definitely gets much, much more dewy and much more luminous throughout the course of the day. So just noting that for you guys. Still beautiful. I like it. I'll use it up. I'm just noting that for you guys. Also addressing the elephant in the room, I'm going to pop this up because this is also a new product. This is the brand new Gourmande Girls Nueva Vita palette. And it's in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny, who did the artwork, and in collaboration with fellow beauty YouTuber Steph's Beauty Stash. And here is what it looks like. It does have her signature and stuff right here. And as you can see, it is a beautiful spring leaning palette. I do already have up some shorts. And I like that even though this is a spring leaning palette, there is a little bit of depth, which I love. You guys know I like depth and I like to build up a look, but it's also very, very light as well. And I like that there are neons, and these are true, incredibly bold, incredibly intense neon shades. I could see a couple of comments when they first kind of sneaked this, and people were like, are they really that intense? Yes, they are. So I literally just went in with the green, kind of did like a cut crease thing. I went in with this first shade right here in the inner corner. I went in with the soft green Island Time in the center, and in the dark pink New Life on the outside. I'm gonna note quickly, not sure if this is just my palette or not, this first shade here that is noted as a satin, it is so incredibly hard to get out. Like, I am swirling and swirling and swirling, and it's still pretty hard to try to actually get from the finger onto the lids. I went in with a brush, I dampened a brush, I went in and tried to go in with my finger. I did finally just go in with a little sponge tip applicator, and it worked beautifully. Aside from that one being very, very hard pressed into the pan and a little bit hard to work with, everything else that I have tried worked beautifully, and I love the look that I came up with. So that is the Nueva Vita palette, and I am still in the process of testing it. But so far, aside from that shade, I really do enjoy the palette. I like the color story. I think it is beautiful and perfect for spring. I do have an affiliated code, RIRI10, for 10% off. Next up, I want to test out the Danessa Myrix Power Bronzer, the Matte Bronzing and Shaping Cream. I did get the shade Light. And some of this is new product, some of it is new to me, and some of it is going to be the products that I got in my Sephora haul for my birthday. I cannot get this open. Hold, please. And if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. We're a little bit of a hot mess here, and we take pride in that. This is a Come As You Are channel. Everybody is welcome, and I'm happy that you're here. So here's what it looks like. I noted when I was doing my Sephora unboxing, this feels cheap. I'm not gonna lie. And I got this because it was 50% off. If I'd have paid full price for this, I might be a little bit perturbed. And I have tested it kind of lightly with you guys. I noted then this is a very thick, dense, almost moussey consistency, like a velvet type finish. It honestly reminds me of like the Maybelline, like the Dream Matte Mousse foundation from years ago. It feels incredible. I love it. As far as like the texture and stuff like that, I did kind of play with it that day. I'm going to go in and put a little tiny bit on this brush. I'm going to pounce my brush onto my hand to take a little bit of product off. I don't want too much. And anytime I'm testing out a brand new bronzer, blush, something like that, especially though with like bronzer and contour products, I start way, way, way up here, honey, up in the hairline. And I take a less is more approach first. And the reason that I do that is if it's too rich, too warm, too deep, it becomes muddy or patchy or anything like that. When I set my hair back down, you'll never know. And then just that part is kind of, you know, more like muddy or whatever the case may be. I am not experiencing that at all. And the other day when I did kind of semi-demo it for you guys, I knew I'd like it, and I do. The way that this feels, the texture of this, the way that this dries down. If you're familiar with the Clarins Velvet Lip Perfectors, how those feel, it is that same type of consistency and texture. And I am very much a texture person. I love it. I love it. If it is still on sale, of course I will link everything. If it's still on sale, I say jump, like sincerely. I think it's beautiful. It did last all day on the skin as well, the day that I did like my little semi-demo. And it just looks beautiful. It does have a slight blurring effect on the skin as well. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. And it just looks beautiful. It's like just enough of like a little bit of a kiss of something. I love it. I think it's stunning. I am going to use this one on this side. Hopefully my makeup doesn't end up looking too off because I do want to try another bronzer as well. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a huge, huge fan of this. I think it is gorgeous. Next up, we have a couple of brand new goodies from LA Girl. I have the Sun-Kissed Glow Envy Bouncy Bronzer. That I have not tested. We also have the Glow Envy Bouncy Blush. I have been testing this behind the scenes for y'all. So I'm going to go in with the Bouncy Bronzer first. And I think this is the only one. I'm not quite sure, but this is in the shade Sun-Kissed Glow. And based on how the blush is, yes, it's the same thing. It is a beautiful, thick cream. Not quite as thick and dense as the Danessa Myrix one is, but it has that same texture to it. I feel like you can diffuse this a little bit more, as you can see, and it has a slight luminous quality to it, whereas the Danessa Myrix does not. I am actually going to go in with the exact same brush and do the exact same process because it picked up way more than I thought. Again, tapping some off. And again, starting at the top of the hairline. And this is supposed to be more of like a it sets down to like a powder, which this one is too, the Danessa Myrix. This is leaning a little bit more cool tone, so honestly, if you're very fair, I think you would have loved this. And I would not be intimidated by it because I was at first. But as you can see, it's very buildable. You can start off with a less is more approach and then kind of build up as you need to. I could also get away with this as an actual full-on contour. I feel like it has a slight luminous, kind of more natural quality to it versus the Danessa Myrix. The way that they feel, the texture of both of them is pretty similar. The way that they both blend it out and they're not disrupting the makeup. And again, I have the glowy foundation over here and it did not disrupt anything. Oh, I love both. That is so pretty. Okay, I like that. This blush, y'all, the Rosy Glow Envy Bouncy Blush. This is in the shade Rosy Glow. Same exact thing. It's a very kind of thick, opaque blush, but it also blends out and feels like that Clarins Lip Perfector. And you can see it shears out a whole lot, but I have found that I can build this up and it lasts all day on me. I'm going to kind of tap this off just a little bit, just on a makeup wipe, and then press it into my towel. Same exact thing. Again, I like to go in with a cream product to pick it up as evenly as I can on the brush. I'm going to disperse some on my hand. And I was very intimidated the first time I tried this. I am going to lightly walk it across, and I like to start a little bit lower and kind of meet my bronzer and kind of mesh the two in together. I do like to come a little bit further up. Oh, it's so pretty. And hopefully you can see it blended in incredibly well. It's not pulling up any makeup from underneath. And it also has that beautiful kind of velvety texture that just kind of blurs the skin and offers like a diffused, it has like a diffused nature to it. It's lovely. It's absolutely beautiful. Next up, I've done quite a few shorts on this. This is one of my favorite products. I think, honestly, it's going to already make it to my best of 2024. They're beautiful. It is the Milk Makeup, the Cooling Water Jelly Tint. I have two shades. I have Burst, and I also have Spritz. I knew Burst would match better with my eyes, but I do have shorts and everything up with both of these. I am going to note that I think they're tiny. It's not a whole lot of product. And I kept the actual lid on here. I roll it all the way down. I click the lid on, and then I click this piece on. I feel like if you don't do that, it's going to dry out. So just noting it for y'all. And then when I do go to use it, I just roll it up a tiny, tiny bit. And it is literally a jelly. It does move around. And I kind of equate it more to like a Jell-O jiggler versus jelly. It's quite firm and quite stiff. I am going to apply some on my lips. I avoid the inner part of my lips because if you do have dry lips, any type of texture at all, I'm gonna wipe this off, it's going to accentuate it. Just noting it, but it's gonna last all day long. Same thing with this as with the blushes and stuff. I'm gonna bring it all the way down. I'm going back in that same brush, and I like to start from here. And I have realized that if you keep this rolled up, it may break. So I keep it rolled, almost all the way down. You can see how pigmented it is. And I am going to very, very lightly start to put it in place. And I go with very soft kind of stamping motions. And as you can see, it's starting to deposit color. I would personally not put this straight to the skin unless you are going to underpaint with it, which I have done and it works just fine. Even with that though, you want to work quickly because it will stick in place. It does stick in place. There's no scent, there's no stickiness, there's no tackiness. It doesn't dry out the skin, but it's not super luminous or anything like that. I feel like it also gives a little bit of a diffused property to the skin, and it is also bulletproof. It's not going anywhere until you want it to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I love this. I love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. Again, nothing has affected, any of my other makeup underneath or anything like that. And I don't know how much this is going to show up, but I do also want to try the brand new Essence. Pink is the New Black color changing lip glow. And it is supposed to be obviously black and then color change. I also want to test out the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper. And I got the shade Puffy Nude. So I'm going to line my lips with this really quickly. It is a click up pen, which I just now realized. Actually, let me wipe some of this off. As you can see, it'll stick. It's going to stick to dry patches, just noting it. I want to just kind of see how intense this is. The lip injections, like the actual lip plumpers, I love. I love the shade. I did accidentally overline a touch. And you cannot take this back down once you put it up, noting it for y'all. I'm already feeling it. Oh, I'm already feeling it. Let me get up close. And then that way through the course of the rest of the video, we'll see if it does anything. So this I'm going to test out, if I can open it. Oh, I thought it was like a tint, like a gloss type thing. That is so pretty. Ooh. So it's like a sheer black with tons of little sparkle in it. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that feels amazing. Oh my gosh, is that beautiful. And you don't see, like even when I swatch it, I don't see the sparkle. And I'm really close to my mirror and I do not see the sparkle. Oh, I am feeling that liner. That's intense. If you don't like lip plumping stuff or something that's too intense, it's not too intense for me. That's too intense, it's not for you. I do want to set my complexione and try this out. If you've been here for 8,000 years, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder is one of my all-time favorites, and they just launched a new one. This is in the shade Light Pink. And now, do I use powder a lot? No. But with something like this, where I know in the summertime especially, I'm going to need a little bit of powder, I opt for some powder. My favorite powder of all time is the Dominique Cosmetics Loose Setting Powder, and I think I'm going to really love this as well. Let me find the tweezers I just had. Holy goodness. Ooh. That's intense. All right, I'm going to put some in here. A little bit. I'm going to take a less is more approach. I'm going in with my Trigwell Cosmetic Sponge. That is intense. Like, I'm still feeling it. Again, I like that sensation. If you don't, it's not for you. But this looks beautiful, this lip combo. I definitely need to fix the side, but it feels like I have nothing on my lips too, which I love. So I am going to go in. I always keep a towel down here on my lap. I take some powder and I tap it into the towel where I am left with a less is more approach. I'm going to put a tiny bit here. Oh, that's so pretty. And I have found, of course I have dry skin, so obviously powder is going to mattify the skin and stuff like that a little bit, obviously. But I have found that typically, like with the regular e.l.f. Halo Glow, that I can set, and yes, it gets a little bit more matte, but it doesn't over dry my skin, and it never looks heavy, thick, cakey, or anything like that. Oh, that looks so pretty. I definitely can see a little bit of a brightness, which I like. And then because I do have very dry skin, I'm going to take just a soft, kind of flimsy open brush and lightly just tap that little bit of powder off, just because I do not like powder to sit on my skin. So this was the glowy. Oh, that looks great. This was the glowy side. All right. And then my newest mascara, I do also already have up a shorts about, I also have a shorts up on this, is the Smashbox Cosmetics Super Fanned Out Mascara. First of all, the packaging is so beautiful and it is heavy, like this is substantial. You could hurt a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to put some of this on. I will speed this part up, and then, yeah, I'll bid you adieu. All right, beauties, this is our finished look. FYI, the liner is still lining, okay? Still tingly, but again, I don't mind that at all. I have to say, every single product I tested out and have been testing, I love. These are products that I do recommend, that I can see myself continuing to use, that I recommend to you guys. I love the look that I created today. Again, with that palette, that one shade is a little bit hard pressed. I think it's still impactful and still beautiful. That is it. Thank y'all for joining me. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe and join my beauty family. Thank you to my beautiful channel members. Thank you to you beauties. I love you. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.